Today on For the Record.
We have a hometown pride, and we do want Pittsburgh to have our own awards and to have something that represents our city and our feelings.
Pittsburgh celebrating the best in film.
It is a film town. A lot of people don't realize that.
I speak with a member of the Pittsburgh Film Critics Association on this Oscar Sunday. We've got picks for the big night.
The Oscar Sunday is my Super Bowl, my World Series all rolled into one.
And a look at what their organization is honoring this year.
We wanted to do something that was special to us that kind of went beyond the traditional categories, the technical, the performance, the directing.
For the Record starts now. Welcome to For the Record. I'm Lily Coleman. Tonight is the biggest night of the year for movies. The 97th Annual Academy Awards kicks off at 7 o'clock right here on WTAE Channel 4. And did you know when it comes to the movies, Pittsburgh has a new voice on the national stage? The recently established Pittsburgh Film Critics Association. I speak with one of its members about the group, how it came together, and how they're reflecting on the year in film. And I'm joined by Tina Kakadelis with the Pittsburgh Film Critics Association. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
We have a lot to get to. Let's start first, though, with the Pittsburgh Film Critics Association. You guys are a fairly new organization, established in what, 2023?
2024, actually. We are very fresh. This has been something that has been tried since the late 90s, early 2000s, and it just finally has gotten off the ground last year.
So talk about that preparation and really getting things moving. What all did it take to get to this point?
Yeah, we had a lot of conversations with the Philly Film Critics Association because they're the other big Pennsylvania one. And we have members who are in CCA, which is one of the huge critics organizations. We have members in the LGBT Critics Association. So all of us kind of came from an understanding of larger critics association, but we have a hometown pride, and we do want Pittsburgh to have our own awards and to have something that represents our city and our feelings, because it is a film town. A lot of people don't realize that there's also the critics side of the film town, and that's us.
Absolutely. That's so cool to think about. What's it like being a member?
Oh, I mean, I just get to watch movies all the time, every day, and talk to people who love the exact same thing. So it's a lot of work. I was in charge of the counting of our ballots this year, so that was a lot of numbers for me as an art kid, but I mean, it's something that it's really exciting to see the feedback and the reception from, we had one of our runner-ups for Best Director, Coraline Farge, who did The Substance, actually share our things on social media, and that was huge for us as a first-year organization. So, I
mean, it has to be a dream job, right? I mean, you get to watch movies and talk about them to anyone that will listen. That's pretty cool.
It's a nightmare for my mom. My mom hates movies, and she will not mind me saying that because it's genuinely shocking to her how much I will talk about movies all day. So, horrible for her, dream job for me.
How do you end up loving movies if your mom hates movies?
My dad loves them.
Okay.
So I'm like, he'll watch anything and everything, whereas I won't watch everything, so I get a little bit of her, a little bit of him for a perfect happy medium.
It does certainly sound like a perfect happy medium. As the organization, we're new, right? That you said it best, we're fresh. How are you looking to grow?
Yeah, we're looking to grow. Right now, I think we're pretty good with members. We have about 15, 16 members in our group. So right now, we're just looking to get more involved in the community. We'd love to do, critics screenings where we host the Q&A talk back after films and just kind of embed ourselves more in the community that we're all doing individually, but to do it more under the banner of the Pittsburgh Film Critics Association is what we're looking to do in the future.
You've touched on this a little bit, but getting to see some of your stuff shared on the national spotlight, that's so cool. Yeah. And why do you think it's so important that Pittsburgh has that reach, right? That your film critics are able to have a voice on the national stage?
I think a lot of people think of film critics as New York and LA. And if you're not in New York or LA, and as somebody who lived in LA for a brief period of time, it's not for everybody. And I think that being a critic, everybody is a critic. Anybody who watches a movie is a critic. And I don't think that we should limit quote unquote real critics to LA, New York. I think the voices in Pittsburgh are just as important as the voices in the larger, more film thought of cities.
Absolutely. And like you mentioned, I mean, Pittsburgh is a growing film city.
Absolutely, yeah. It's shocking. I was talking to somebody yesterday who just moved here, and I told him what I did, and he was like, "Oh, do they shoot films here?" And I was like, "Yeah, you've seen The Dark Knight, you've seen all these," and he was like, "No way." And so we disguise it really well, but I think it's time that we get some pride too, that's saying it's Pittsburgh first and foremost.
All right, so we will talk picks in a second because there is a lot to get to. You guys have certain categories, though. One that caught my eye, there's a special spotlight, if you will, on the Kindness Award. Walk me through what that is.
Yes, so we wanted to do something that was special to us that kind of went beyond the traditional categories, the technical, the performance, the directing, and we wanted to focus on maybe something that was behind the scenes. So we opened it up to all our members to submit something that they felt that happened behind the scenes of a film that was really important. We had nominations about intimacy coordinators, which is a huge topic for filmmaking right now. But what ended up winning was The Seed of the Sacred Fig and the filmmaking team. It's this film that came out of Iran, and it's about the women who are choosing not to wear head coverings in public anymore. It's an incredibly impactful film, shot in secret in Iran, had to be smuggled out. The director had to escape on his own too. So it's just the amount of work that went into it beyond just the bare minimum of making a film, which is already a monumental feat in itself, is just so impactful and so important, and speaks to what film can do, because you're seeing firsthand what's happening in a country that I've never been to, I may never go to in my life, but I have now this piece of art that shows me the lives that people are experiencing. And it was something that we thought was just so important to showcase.
And it's so cool to think too, it's not something that people would know about, right? You said it, it's behind the scenes.
Right.
So shining that spotlight, that really, really is interesting and important, because those are big topics of conversation right now. Okay, I like that. Let's move on to some of the big winners.
Yes.
Okay, so your Best Picture winner has a Pittsburgh connection with Demi Moore, who spent part of her childhood in the region. Tell us how you chose The Substance as Best Picture of the year.
The Substance is kind of the movie that is just, it blew up out of Cannes, and everyone's kind of like, it's so crazy you won't believe it. And sometimes I'm a little cautious, like, if it's that is it that crazy? And then I saw it at the Toronto International Film Festival, and I was just blown away. It's something that is so visceral and so intense, and somebody framed Demi Moore to me as a Razzie nominee to now an Oscar nominee, and I think that is just such a cool story of the growth that you can have in the industry. And she's just such an incredible performer, and the way that she went whole body into that performance is unlike anything she's done, I think, in her whole career.
Something else that I think is interesting is you guys also have runners-up in each category. Can we talk about the runner-up in this category for Best Picture?
Absolutely. Huge year for Challengers, but only in Pittsburgh, it seems. Challengers was fully shut out of the Oscars, which is something that a lot of people, Challengers shows up time and time again in our winners for the Film Critics Association in Pittsburgh. It's a tennis movie, which I personally love. And I think it's just such a fun movie with so many interesting, dynamic, moving parts. And I think part of the reason why it was shut out later, or in the Oscars, is because it came out in spring. And famously, the Oscars have a little bit of a short-term memory, and they kind of choose the fall. So we wanted to make sure that, we don't gender our categories, so we wanted to make sure that we are showing the runners-up as well, just as a means of, sharing light on more films, just spreading the love, because I think awards can do so much to help people be interested in watching movies and then help movies gain more funding in the future. So we just wanted to spread around the love.
Let's switch categories here. Top leading performance, lead actor category, our winner.
Yes, so this one, like I said, is non-gendered, but Colman Domingo from Sing Sing came out as the winner. Did you see Sing Sing?
I have not seen that one.
That one is another one that suffered from coming out earlier in the year and kind of had a limited theatrical release. But it's about a rehabilitation through the arts program in Sing Sing prison. Colman Domingo is one of those actors who is just, he blows me away in everything that he does, and I'm so glad that he's getting this recognition. He's one of the guys who performs Shakespeare in a way that makes 21st century people kind of understand what Shakespeare was doing. So I think that is kind of what captured all of our hearts in making him our winner.
And right now, you can read a complete list of the Pittsburgh Film Critics Association award winners on our website, WTAE.com, and on the WTAE app. Just click the link for this show on the main page. And still ahead on For the Record,
There's always who I think will win and who my heart tells me.
it's time to talk Oscars. We break down some predictions for Hollywood's biggest night. Welcome back to For the Record. On this Oscar Sunday morning, I'm continuing my conversation with Tina Kakadelis of the Pittsburgh Film Critics Association as we get some predictions for Hollywood's biggest night. Today, of course, Oscar Sunday. Let's talk about what you're expecting for tonight. That's a big one. Let's start. What are you expecting from Conan O'Brien?
I'm hoping that we're going to get a good lead off show. I think a good host. I think it's really tough. It's a long marathon of a show to host. It's a bit of a behemoth, but I do feel like Conan O'Brien has the movie loving in him, that it will be a celebration of movies, I'm hoping. And there's rumors of a Wicked opening number, so we will see if those are correct.
Here's hoping for that. I would like that.
Exactly.
Before we talk specific picks, long list of nominees, is there anything or anyone that you feel like was left out that should have made the cut?
There's so many. If I had to narrow it down, I would say the Best Actress category this year is outrageous. There was absolutely going to have to be somebody left behind. But Angelina Jolie's performance in Maria, I think that movie as a whole didn't capture the attention in the way that I personally felt like it should have. And it was a film where I saw Angelina Jolie just disappear, and it was Maria. And I really, really enjoyed that. And then on the supporting actor side, Clarence Macklin from Sing Sing, he did get a nomination for adapted screenplay, but he was one of the actual people in Sing Sing prison who went through the rehabilitation through the arts program and then portrayed a version of himself in the film. And you would have never guessed that that was his first film role. It blew me away, and I think that he just deserved to be there for his artistic merits.
Absolutely. I didn't know that. That's remarkable.
Most of the cast, except Coleman Domingo, is portrayed by the people who went through the rehabilitation through the arts program.
Okay. Best Director, who do you think is taking home that prize?
I think my heart of hearts wants the director for The Substance, Coralie Farge, but I do believe that the Oscars is still a little afraid of horror, so I don't think she's going to take it home. So I think Brady Corbet from The Brutalist is going to take it. That has seemed to be gaining a lot of momentum and a lot of traction in recent weeks, and it is an American epic on a scale that we haven't seen really in a while.
Okay. Unlike PFCA, Oscars split up acting races between actors and actresses. Let's talk about Best Supporting Actress here.
Yes.
What are you thinking?
This one is another hard one. Monica Barbero from A Complete Unknown is an absolute wild card to be here, and I really love that. I think it's so impressive that she went from a semi-supporting role in Top Gun Maverick, which most people probably saw but don't remember her in, to playing Joan Baez in the Bob Dylan biopic, and I think that is such an impressive trajectory in such a short period of time. I think Zoe Saldana is going to be taking it home. I think there's been a lot of controversy around Emilia Perez, but Zoe Saldana is the one part of the film that seems to be avoiding all of the swirling things around it. And I think that the film, before the controversy, was hugely popular among Academy voters, and I think that this is a way that they can still support the film without necessarily supporting some of the controversy around it.
So let's talk about that a little bit. There's two items that have kind of been subject of controversy over the last 2 weeks, okay? So we've got the use of AI to enhance the Hungarian spoken by, I believe, two of the performers in The Brutalist, including Adrian Brody, who is the lead actor nominee here. And then we also, with Emilia Perez, have the resurfaced tweets that have led to an apology by star Carla Sofia Gascon, who is up for Best Actress. Do either of those controversies impact their chances of taking home the prize?
I think The Brutalist will remain unscathed because it is something that they keep saying it was such a small part of the film. And I think that people are very cautious about AI and what AI can and should be used for. And I think in terms of what AI is used for, the little tweaks of a language, I think is what most people are falling on the side of, we don't love it, but it's okay. Whereas all of the tweets that have come out about Carla, I think I think she's essentially fallen out of the Best Actress race, whereas before that one was just neck and neck amongst everybody. So I do think that that has negatively impacted Carla. Will be interesting to see how it impacts the rest of Emilia Perez, because there was talk that it was essentially going to sweep its 13 nominations. Now it seems like it might get Best Song and International Feature maybe, and Zoe Saldana, but other than that, it seems like it might have fallen off entirely.
Interesting. Time will tell, I guess.
Yep.
All right, let's go back to Best Supporting Actor if we can. We've seen a lot of pundits say there is a shoo-in in this category.
Yes.
Others say it's a competitive race. Your thoughts?
I think I'm going to go on the shoo-in side. I think Kieran Culkin has been just coasting since Sundance 2024, which is January of 2024. So he's had a whole year of kind of the undisputed guy. Speaking of Guy Pearce is the other one from The Brutalist. He is, I think, the closest coming up for supporting actor, but I really think that Kieran's got it.
Okay, I like that. He's everywhere. You see him everywhere on social media, on TikTok. You can't scroll for 2 minutes without seeing him. Yeah, okay.
And he's charming.
He is.
And he has Succession, the success of Succession. Wow, that's difficult.
That is a
success
tough one.
of Succession on his back. So I think that he's got it.
Okay. Let's talk Best Actor and Best Actress races. We're going to put the nominees for Best Actress up on the screen right now. Tell me who you think will win and why.
That's such a hard one because there's always who I think will win and who my heart tells me. I'm rooting for Demi. I think that she is, again, has such an interesting career, and The Substance just took my breath away in so many ways. But I do think that it's going to go to Fernanda Torres. But overall, this year is a fascinating list of Best Actress nominees. You have Carla, who, again, has the controversy, but she's the first openly trans woman to be nominated for an acting. Fernanda is only the second Brazilian woman to be nominated for an Oscar for acting, which is, again, incredible. Demi, first-time nominee, could be first-time winner. You have Mikey Madison, first-time nominee, could be the 9th youngest to win it, which is also incredible. And then Cynthia Erivo, if she wins it, she's got the EGOT. So it is a hugely interesting year.
All right, Best Actor, what do you think?
Best Actor is another really tough one. I think it's going to Adrien Brody, though. I think Timothée Chalamet, I think, had the possibility, but I do feel that the Oscars, since he is so young, will give him a couple more years and then give him the Oscar. They like to play these games.
All right, last but not least, the big one, Best Picture, 10 nominees. I will read them.
Okay.
Anora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked. What are you thinking takes home that top prize tonight?
I think it's Anora, which is very interesting, a movie, and I think it's been very recently picking up the steam to get it to Best Picture. The director, Sean Baker, has been winning a couple directing awards. He also wrote, edited, produced it, and directed it, so he's been gaining a bunch of traction there. So I think Nora's going to go home with the big prize.
All right. What are you most looking forward to?
The Oscar Sunday is my Super Bowl, my World Series all rolled into one. So if it's good, I love that. If it's bad, I love that. I just love the atmosphere of Oscar Sunday night.
All right, Tina, we are looking forward to it. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
And remember, WTAE Channel 4 is the place to be for Oscar Sunday. It starts tonight with Pittsburgh's Action News 4 at 6 p.m. The Oscars red carpet show is at 6:30. And the big event, the 97th Annual Academy Awards, kicks off at 7. It's followed by a special edition of American Idol and then Pittsburgh's Action News 4 at 11. And keep it here. A look at what's ahead next week on For the Record is right after this break. And don't forget, you can catch up on recent episodes of For the Record, including our recent in-depth look at the nursing program at Carlow University with just the click of a button. Past episodes are streaming right now on the Very Local app, the WTAE app, and WTAE.com. We're back after this. Welcome back. Coming up next week on For the Record, our Ryan Recker speaks with Jeff Finkelstein, president and CEO of the Jewish Federation of Greater Pittsburgh, as he marks 20 years in his post and discusses why Pittsburgh has such a special Jewish community.
What did you learn about the proud community that exists here in Pittsburgh and the rich traditions here in a city that's all about traditions?
It is, I always say every Jewish community across North America is the same, but each has something that makes them special. And really what makes Pittsburgh special is probably its geography. It's not that big. More than 50% of the Jewish community lives in the city of Pittsburgh, making Pittsburgh the last major urban-centered Jewish community in North America other than New York. And so there's a geographic proximity of people in the Jewish community. All different types live in the same neighborhood. People who are very observant to people who are not observant. People who are young, people who are old. Everyone is living together and in relationship with one another.
Don't miss an all-new For the Record next Sunday morning at 11:30 right here on WTAE Channel 4. Until then, thank you for watching. Have a great week.